Hello students. Today we are going to start with the first lesson of our history textbook, that is historiography development in the West. So first of all, let us discuss what is historiography. Historiography. So historiography, we have the first two lessons related to historiography. You have seen in the index, that is historiography development in the West and historiography Indian tradition. So these points are very important: Indian tradition and development in the West. So here in the second lesson we are going to see about Indian tradition, what was the tradition of historiography in India. On the other hand, in the first lesson we are going to see the tradition of historiography in the West, the European countries and other Western countries. So first let us understand what is historiography. Historiography is the critical narrative of history, critical writing of history. So these are four topics to be covered in this lesson. Tradition of historiography means what was the tradition of historiography. Modern historiography, what changes took place in the aspects of historiography or the research that took place in historiography in the modern times, that is the modern historiography. Then we will be seeing the development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. So as we know that philosophy was considered to be very important and a significant subject in European countries on which research was done on a large scale. But then how the European scholars studied or did research on history. We will be seeing in this lesson, and yes, after all, notable scholars, that is the scholars who contributed to history in some or the other way, their theories, their the things that they stated, and much more. So the first line is historical research, writing, and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past events and their interconnections. This is a continuous process. So as I will be telling you some important lines, some important words that please highlight or underline so that it will be easy for filling the blanks, concept maps and other things. And it will be easy for you to score full marks in your board exam as well as other exams of school. So the first line is very important. Make a point that you highlight or underline it. So it tells us the purpose of historiography in short. What is the objective? Behind doing anything, we have some objective. Behind doing studies, we have objective to get knowledge, to pass the exam, to score, to be topper, etc. So here, the objective of historiography is understanding the chronology of past events and their interconnections. In this statement also, the second line is very important. That is why historiography is to be studied, because many historical events are taking place since ancient times till modern times and will be taking place, but we have to arrange them in chronological order. Why? Because it becomes easy to study if they are arranged in chronological order. We know that events that are taking place, historical events that are taking place, are interrelated, interconnected, yes. So understanding the interconnections, understanding the chronology of historical events is the main objective of historical research, that is historiography. And it is a continuous process. So historical events are taking place, their interconnections are studied and researched, new researches are coming out in these times. So it is a continuous process, obviously. So in the physical and natural sciences, the empirical method, laboratory method of experiments and observation is used to verify the available knowledge. This method allows formulating laws that remain true irrespective of time and space. Those laws can be tested and proved repeatedly. So we know that in science there are many theories, there are many laws that can be tested, that can be proved time and again. For example, we know that the seawater is salty. Even today we can go test the seawater and test it is salty, and we can write from the observations it is salty. Or even any chemical reactions or some other theories from your science textbook. You do it in science labs and you prove it time and again. But in history it is not possible. Why and how? We will be seeing in the next paragraph. In historical research, it may not be possible to use the method of laboratory experiments and observation. This is so because we are not present in historical time and space. In the historical events cannot be recreated. See, these words are very important. They cannot be recreated. Also, in history, it is not possible to formulate laws that remain true irrespective of time and space. So, as I told you, we cannot say Shivaji Maharaj to come again to fight to kill Afzal Khan, to kill Shahistar Khan, and then prove or then say that he did so and so. No, it is not possible for us, as it is possible in science to prove it again and again. So, it cannot be recreated, historical events cannot be recreated, and also we cannot formulate any laws. It is not possible to formulate any laws. Why? Because history change, historical researches can change. We will be seeing it deeply detailed information about it in the notable scholars who formulated such some theories about it, stating that not possible to formulate laws. Why? We will be seeing. Then to begin, we need an expert who knows the language and script of a historical document in order to read it and understand its meaning. Also, the experts can examine the authenticity of the document by using criteria such as lettering style, author style of writing, manufacturing date, and type of paper, stamps of authority. Such a document is further scrutinized by historian with the help of relevant historical references. So we need an expert. Why? Because the language, and the second aspect is script. We know that for the earlier documents are in Brahmi script or Modi script or some other languages or in Prakrit language, etc. So don't know that. Today we are studying English, we are studying German, we are studying even Prakrit language or some other. But we don't know Modi Lipi, Brahmi Lipi, that is the scripts. So in order to know it, we need an expert in order to study these documents whose language we don't know. We have to use the expertise of the expert. We need an expert. Why? To scrutinize it, to understand it. The main aim, the sole objective is understanding the historical documents. But we don't know the language and script. So the knower of the language and script, that is the expert of that language and script, is needed here. Why? To understand. See, history is very easy. 10th standard SSC history is very easy. Remember that expert is needed. The main objective is understanding. The main objective is understanding the meaning. Let's underline it. Okay. Main objective is understanding the meaning of the documents which are found in the archaeological excavations or from other sources. But the language and script of ancient times is not known by us. Then, in order to know it, we need an expert who knows it. Hence, we need an expert. Very easy. Also, the experts can examine the authenticity of the document. So, how is the authenticity of the document examined? By the criteria. What is the criteria? Please make a point that you make a concept map on criteria to examine the authenticity of the document, and the branches of that concept map will be lettering style, author style of writing, manufacturing date and type of paper, stamps of authority. Make a point. Always remember that in board exam there are concept maps in which students generally lose their marks. But in order to gain marks and score full marks, we have to study in between the lines. We have to remember this. And if you do from the day one, I'm sure you will score full marks. So make a point, you make a concept map here. So such a document is further scrutinized by historian. Who is historian will be seeing on the next page. So historical research method. What is the method for writing of historical narrative? What is the method? Actual method is given. Examining the relevant references of the available historical information. See here references. What is very important? Examining references. See, if references of the if you have got some historical documents, if its references are authentic, it means that the historical documents are authentic and we can study and get relevant information which will be true and authentic. So first references should be examined. Then collecting historical information, highlighting the processes that led to these historical transitions, carrying out comparative analysis. Then understanding the differences regarding time and space of the given historical events and also various conceptual frameworks. See, Historical cannot write each and every word to word, each and everything about each second or each minute or each or an hour what happened at that time. So he has to use some framework. Each historian has specific framework describing it. So it is called as conceptual framework of each historian. We have to understand conceptual framework of each historian. Then formulating relevant questions in view of the historical references. Formulating questions. Just remember the keywords. So you will be able to write the answers on your own. So if we question someone, we will get answers of it. We will get some answers, and our questions will be fulfilled. Our curiosity will be fulfilled. Formulating hypothesis. Based on the answers we get for first formulated questions, then we get answers, and from that answers we formulate hypothesis. We formulate some theories which are useful for historical narrative, that is historiography. And in critically examining of various sources of history. Yes, this you have to remember the sentence, very easy. Examining sources of history. So this is the method of historical research method. Read it twice, thrice or 4-5 times. You will memorize it, you will be able to by heart it. And make a point you read it after 1 or 2 weeks, so that you will recollect it. So this is historical research method. Then next more. Methods of various disciplines are useful in historical research. So what are the disciplines? Here there is a concept map, archaeology, archival science, very important concept map. Please make a point that you thoroughly prepare it. Archaeology, archival science, manuscriptology. Epigraphy means the study of inscriptions. For example, inscriptions of Ashoka or the inscriptions we get during excavations. The study of it is called as epigraphy. Analysis of lettering style. See the lettering style of different kings during the tenures, or not tenure but reigns of different kings. The lettering style is different. So analysis of lettering style is important. Why? In order to understand the inscriptions or the things that are found during excavations. Then linguistics, numismatics, that is study of different coins. We know that during Ashoka coins were different, during Shivaji Maharaj coins were different. So if the study of coins also helps. See, coins are also sources of history. Yes, there are material sources of history. We will be seeing the types of sources of history. So but remember, there are sources of history. So numismatics is the study of coins. Yes, through coins also we can study history. Then genealogy, the study of lineage, etc. So very important concept map. Please prepare it thoroughly. Then 1.1 Tradition of historiography. We have completed here introduction. What is the tradition of historiography? We have learnt about the historical research method, critically examining the historical sources and writing the historical narrative. The writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. So see, the lesson is related to historiography. After completing the one page, they have given us a definition. Make a thing you by heart it, learn it, memorize it. Very important. You can write as the introductory part or first point of your answer related to this question, related to this lesson. So the writing of critical historical narrative is called as historiography. And what is historian? A person who is historian, a person who writes a critical historical narrative is historian. So critical historical narrative, writing of the critical historical narrative is called as historiography. Now we have understood the clear definition. And a scholar who writes critical historical narrative, that is a scholar who writes historiography, is called as historian. The historian cannot include every past event in its narrative. The inclusion and interpretation, that is explanation, explaining in detail of historical events by the historian, often depends on the conceptual framework adopted by him. His style of writing is determined by that conceptual framework. So see, I told you about conceptual framework. So here it is given same conceptual style of writing of the historian, that is he decides something, which events to be included in what interpretation, in what detail he should explain, and many things. It is called as conceptual framework. The tradition of writing historical narrative, that is historiography, was not prevalent in the ancient societies of the world. However, that does not mean that they were not aware of the historical time or were not eager about to know about it. So see, in ancient times, during even Stone Age man and a nomadic man, and yes, all these stages in the development of man, and then when there was no advanced technology, when just language was developed, just no time was passed after the development of language and script. So it is not that historiography was not developed or historical events were not passed from generations to generations. They were aware of passing the historical stories, their lineage, their traditions from one generation to another. Then how? How do they pass so? Ancient people also felt the need of passing on the stories of the life and valor of the ancestors to the next generation. Ancient communities all over the world used various means like the ancient tribals communities, how they spread the information. They used various means. What were the means? The means were cave paintings, storytellings, singing songs, and ballads. So make a point here that you underline it, and also make a short concept map or tree diagram about it. So the means were cave paintings, storytelling, singing songs, and ballads. These traditional means are looked upon as the sources of history in the modern history. So these traditional means of recording the history are now the sources of history for the modern times. Means studying the cave paintings, studying the traditional historical sources, we can write history of that time in modern time. So these traditional means are looked upon as the modern history are looked upon as the modern sources of historiography. So yes students, in this video we will explain this much. Please study. If you have any doubts regarding this, if you have any doubts or queries regarding the content taught in this video or related to whole lesson, please make a point that you comment in the comment box of this video. I will surely reply to your comment and solve your query. So we have completed the introduction and 1.1, that is tradition of historiography of this lesson. We have almost completed 2 pages. So in the next video we will be completing modern historiography and the remaining part. So if you like the video, please like the video and make a point you subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that when I upload new video, new educational content, you will be notified that you will get a notification and you will be able to study nicely. So this was about historiography, tradition of historiography and the introduction of historiography. So hope you liked this video. Please subscribe the channel, like the video, and thank you for watching the video. Enjoy studying. All the best for your studies. Thank you.